I hired Elizabeth Feldman in order to keep my 12-year-old nephew, whom I had raised since infancy. My nephew's mother had very little interest in him and saw him only on weekends so that she could parade him around to her friends and display him like an ornament in shopping malls as purely a self-centered attention gimmick. By the time my nephew was 12, he and I had had enough. Not knowing originally how to find a good and qualified attorney, I made an appointment with Elizabeth Feldman and brought a previous but not adjudicated in loco parentis document. In loco parentis means the parent in place. It's a Latin legal term and is handled by attorneys specializing in family law. Elizabeth Feldman did not know what my document was and had to look it up while I sat in front of her. Ask any other family attorney if they would recognize an in loco parentis document. On Ms. Feldman's desk was a candy jar labeled Prozac. When your child faces losing the loving world as he knows it, the last thing you want from your attorney is for either you or that attorney to rely on Prozac. The joke wasn't funny, but I still hoped that after a few initial bumps, Elizabeth Feldman would really know her stuff legally. Elizabeth Feldman wanted $5,000 to begin work on my case. The way Elizabeth Feldman spoke led me to believe that it would not take $5,000 to complete the case, and any unused funds would be returned. I quickly returned to her office with the $5,000 she would take from me before I would realize that she wasn't working on my case. As an active participant in my child's case, I quickly got his mother to agree to give him up, legally, to me. I just needed Elizabeth Feldman to draw up the documents. Upon calling her, I could tell she wasn't familiar with my case, and days went by without a response from Elizabeth Feldman. I called again and again and eventually demanded to speak with her immediately. And after many minutes of pause, she came on to the call and told me that she was going to put my call on speakerphone with someone who was supposed to have been working on my child's case. Someone I had never met and later was advised by anonymous email, which I did not and do not care to verify, had sketchy legal past. No work had begun on my document in which the mother of my nephew would give up the child. Days went by and still no work had been done. You can probably guess that enough time had passed and the mother rescinded. It was heartbreaking. By this point, I had begun researching attorneys, but the courts had a date for us to present our case. The attorney whom Ms. Feldman passed my case onto appeared to have done nothing except show up. I asked this attorney if she had read any of my child's 12 years of painstakingly supplied history, and she admitted that she had not. That was it. I had now found a remarkable attorney, licensed in 3 states, whom had won a case like mine within the past year. The question was, would this attorney, Norman Katz, take this case? I notified Miss Feldman to stop work. Kind of ludicrous, since I had no evidence that she had ever begun. I needed the balance of the unused $5,000, which should have been around $3,000, from what she vaguely, misleadingly implied at our initial meeting. Instead, Ms. Feldman sent an inflated bill that showed all of my initial deposit had been consumed, and she demanded around $800 more. You must realize that as a client, you have no way to verify an attorney's charges. And if you aggravate an attorney that you don't know or trust, that attorney can sharply inflate charges to you. I think taking Ms. Feldman off my child's case didn't go over well with her. Instead of apologizing for poor work and lack of effort, Elizabeth Feldman insisted I pay additional charges. It's easy to find reviews written favorably by friends and family. If you'd like to verify this review, I have all the supporting documents. My name is Robert Mullen for Tom Thomas. The number is 602-430-5496.